Okay, guys, so welcome to another edition of Jackal's Corner. Tonight, I got some very awesome guests tonight. Funny story is that these guys are some of the first people I ever met in the Valley. I remember from Doom Desire, and that was an awesome band. As soon as I saw Ina come down stage, I was like, "Oh my God, you vocals are what the fuck!" And it just blew my mind because that night it had a bunch of really hardcore bands like fucked with a chainsaw and all these guys, and I was like, what the fuck? Because here's this band that was just totally crazy. But I'm super excited for this tonight, but I will let you guys introduce yourselves and everything like that, so I will turn it over to you guys.
Awesome. Well, my name is Ina Estrella, and I'm the singer of Lost Sacrament.
What's
Nice.
up, guys? I'm VC. I'm the drummer of Lost Sacrament.
This is what's up. Before we before we jump too far into it, let me get some shout outs to my sponsors real quick. Let me give a shout out to 5 by 5 for hooking us up with the alcohol libations tonight.
Very
Um,
delicious.
Head out to Mission, right across from the cop shop, and will take care of you at 5 by 5 right there on Bryan. They got all kinds of good, different kinds of beers, anything that you're needing. They pretty much can take care of it just in a higher tasting beer.
Quality,
Um,
quality, quality.
yes, yes. Also to Concert Culture, I want to thank you guys for providing all the sound that we get. Thank you guys. You guys make this come alive.
Matt Rios, Frank Salinas. That's
Yes,
you.
yes, yes.
All right.
Um, and I want to give a shout out to Motor Ramen, our newest sponsor. While you're out there at 5 by 5 you can actually stop in at Motor Ramen because they're right there in the parking lot. So you get your beer, you get your food, you're perfect. There you go. So head on out there. Remember, support local. With all that being said, let's get right into this podcast. Guys, what have you guys been doing? Because it's been a pretty good hiatus with you guys for a bit of doing anything with the scene of music. Um, so, what's new with you guys?
We had when we kind of concluded things with Doom Desire in 2015, we kind of took a little bit of a sabbatical to come back, and in that time, VC actually spent a good year writing new material for a new album. We were The plan originally was to do another Doom Desire album, but kind of everybody kind of just moved on to separate things. Some of the guys, we're still cool with all of them. Rob, Michael, Luis, and Rob G. They're still really good friends of ours. We still get together regularly, have beers,
Yeah,
and we have barbecues. But the guys, some of them settled down, had families. They moved on to other things. Some of them moved away, and so we decided, well, as we were kind of making plans to get together and do a new project, we decided we were gonna do a new band, new name, and so VC came up with Lost Sacrament, and there was an album's worth of music, and we needed to do something about it.
definitely.
We just couldn't sit on it, and so through his vision, I decided to write lyrics for all of the songs, come up with vocal melodies, and we were gonna make something fresh and something new, and we got new members, and we took it. And so last year, around this time, actually last year, we had our first show, and it was the Breast Fest too.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna give a shout out to the South Texas Black Widows for hooking us up for
definitely.
that show, Breastfest, and it was a pretty awesome experience to go and play our. It was our first show as Lost Sacrament. We played a pretty awesome set, I think, and it was a really cool festival, and we
Yeah,
got to meet a lot of people, and a lot of people helped us out with this project too. This wasn't just us, We had a lot of help. We had really good friends. Joshua Lopez at Widowmaker Studios is one of
badass
our
dude.
very good friends, and he's our producer, and he's making sure that this album kicks major ass when it comes out.
Oh, that's all you ever have to say.
Yeah.
Widowmaker Studios, you know that album's gonna be fucking fire.
Yeah. And then
Indeed.
the drums were all recorded with JD De La Rosa. So they were recorded at Charlie Vela Studios here in Edinburgh, actually. And JD's been a really good friend of ours, too. And we appreciate everything he's done for us. And, a lot of our friends came through to help us out with this project and to see things come back to life for us in ways that we wish we still had with Doom Desire, but now it's going to be more. And it's going to
Yes.
be more personal and it's going to be better.
Yeah.
So as far as like the sound of our music, some people were expecting it to be that high-speed power metal that we were signature, but we took a more darker wave, a
Yeah.
darker tone to it. So we're kind of moving towards a more evergrayish,
Yeah.
sound, and we're
Yes.
moving towards more symphonic, dark sounds.
Right. Well, speaking of Evergrey, I gotta thank you because you're the one that gave me my first Evergrey CD.
No, really.
Yes, when I
well,
that
you're
one time
welcome.
when I went with the guy that we may not ever mention again with the
Oh,
awesome
yeah.
voice, you know him.
That's right.
We went over to your house when he was gonna practice with you, and you made the CD for him, and he was like, "Oh, I don't want that crowd," and I was like, "I want that crowd. What are you
that's
talking
right,
about?"
man.
It's badass crap. And shout out to Tom England from Evergrey because he's a badass musician and he's
Oh hell yeah!
he's a
Super
cool
down to
guy.
earth.
Super down to earth
Yeah.
guy. It's funny. I have one of their albums on a red vinyl, a special edition, and all 5 of those guys signed it
Oh
when
man.
I went to go see them in a couple years back. I mean, they're just awesome guys. They're super chill.
I'll say this: that guy's so down to earth, man. Add him on Facebook, and he'll comment, and he'll read your comments.
Yeah.
That's how
what's
down to
up.
earth he is. He listens,
yeah, and
he's very
he'll
humble.
even take your pictures if you go to a show and you take a picture of him. He will
Yeah.
post the pictures and he'll give you credit. He like shares my. I have the same picture like that I've taken of him every year. He shares it every year.
That's so awesome.
Even
Yeah.
more, one more little story. Tom England, like he's a man for us. He's really, especially in a lyrical format. He's just so personal when it comes to a lot of his songs, and he touches the hearts and the minds and ears of a lot of our musicians down here. And one, especially my buddy Roy from Eternal Crown. He's like, hey man, if you go see, Evergrey, just give me something from there. Like, well, at that moment, I ran out of money. I just had enough just to get back. But I says, I'll do something even better. I'll say hi to him and I'll just sign something for you and I'll bring it back. Tom England went even further than that. I was talking to my buddy Roy, like, hey, he's right here. I'm looking at him. He's like, he's just waiting around. And then all of a sudden, okay, cool. And Tom England's like, hey, let me talk to him.
Oh my
I lend him
God.
my phone, and he's like, hey, dude, here's Tom. Check it out. And then he just goes off, and Roy and him just go for like a 5-minute conversation, of a lot of stuff, and, just exchanging, kind words about,
That's so
appreciation.
cool.
And you don't hear or see that from guys, especially from, European metal.
Yeah,
European metal. So you don't hear
It's
that
not,
a lot.
It's not ordinary.
It's
'cause
not common,
You think
but
of these guys like as larger than life, and so when you actually get to meet them and
Oh,
you get to
yes.
talk to them, and
they're
stuff,
just like us,
Yeah.
So it's
well,
very cool.
it was like when Small Empty Soul came down here. I saw them at Yerb, and the show was gonna get canceled because all the members were like, "Well, we can't go," And the vocalist, he's like, "Oh, fuck that shit! Like, I'll do it fucking acoustic. The show must go on."
yeah,
And he does it, and he gets done. They're telling him, well, you have to charge, people to do meet and greets and all that. And he had seen me in the crowd, and at the end, he tells me, he's like, "Come here, man." And I'll go up to him. He's like, "I don't give a fuck what they say. Come here, man. Take a picture with me, man." As he's like, "You were the most 90s motherfucker I've ever seen." He's like, "You knew every lyric to my song." He says, "I get a lot of people who they know the hits." He said, "But I sang stuff that was never released out there, and you knew the lyrics." He says, "That's real." And I told him, "You're one of the reasons I started singing. Like, what
That's
the
right.
fuck?" And he gave me his fucking necklace that he wore that night. He gave it to me, and I was like, dude, I just started crying. I was like, no, what?
Dude, yeah, the '90s generation is pretty much a dying breed. No,
It is.
that's something really special about guys from the '90s and '80s and maybe even '70s if they're still around. That they're so genuine, and that's the word, genuine. Once technology took over, it's just it's so
everybody hides kind of behind the facade of social media,
Yeah.
and they have to present themselves in a certain way, and a lot of them, they present themselves, but they're not really being themselves,
Yeah.
and so it can be pretty daunting, seeing or getting to meet them in person, and then not having such a good experience and stuff.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And when I started Jackals, I had a lot of people tell me, "Oh, well, you're gonna have to create this page where you're this persona," and I said, "Fuck that, dude."
Yeah, exactly.
I said, "Do you want?" I said, "Jackal's Corner is just it is a podcast." I said, "I'm not Jackal. My Jackal's Corner was named after Johnny Jekyll Mayhem, a rapper out here who passed,
Yes.
right.
and that is what this is for. That's why it's purple and green for primitive mind colors."
Yeah.
This is to keep his name alive for all the love that he gave to the scene.
Yeah.
And that's why I tell bands when they come on here, this is your spotlight. Whatever the hell you want to talk about, I don't give a fuck.
Right on.
Yeah.
I really don't, because this is who I am. I'm a person who I just love music, and I just love talking to bands and getting their name out there, because the Valley doesn't have that kind of real outlet. And a real outlet with somebody who genuinely just loves the music.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of people who create stuff and they're like, we're about the music, we're about it, but it's not. And with me, I'm a guy who I'll interview you and then go to your freaking show and buy your merch and rep it all over Facebook
Yeah.
and
You're genuine, Steven.
That's the word for today, folks. Genuine.
Yeah.
it's I remember being a little kid and seeing bands up there, and now I'm that guy that I get to do the stuff that, like Matt Pinfield, that's my hero. I pride myself on knowing knowledge like he does.
Yeah, that guy's an encyclopedia, man.
Dude,
Yeah.
and my wife, she always tells me that all the time. She's like, babe, you with your useless encyclopedia of knowledge. And then she'll be like, babe, who's this song by? And I'm like, yeah, useless, huh? Now it's convenient for you. but I've always been that guy, because when I was growing up, I didn't have a lot of friends. I was that guy being bullied because I was a little kid. I was tiny when I was in school. I had all kinds of illnesses, so people tended to not treat me so nice.
Right.
Exactly. People are messed up, and it's a wild world out there, and I think we've seen that in the last couple of days, especially with everything that's been going on in the world, and in our world here in the United States with the elections and stuff. It is wild out there, and it's only getting more wild, and it takes genuine hearts and genuine minds to come together and really just go for the things that matter in life, and really fight for those things that really matter in life.
Yep.
Peace, love, music, those things matter. Like, people, they become so desensitized over the years because they're bullied.
Yep.
They're told that it's wrong. They're told by people that it's completely wrong to be that way, to be loving, to be caring, to be peaceful, to love something that you're passionate about, and they will consistently bring you down.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a personal story. I've told him this a couple of times. When I was in school, in high school, I wasn't very well liked either, because I was a know-it-all, and I felt like, like I knew things, and I still had a lot to learn, but I always knew that there were two things in this life that I was going to do. I was going to teach music, and I was going to sing in a metal band, or I was going to sing in a rock band. I just always knew that was going to be the case. So when I was in high school, I hung around a group of friends that I thought, would be cool bandmates, so we kind of made like a makeshift group at the time, and it didn't really go anywhere, but I hung around this group of friends, and there's always that one hater, man, and that hangs around in the group. And this one guy straight up told me, you know what, dude, you're fat, your Spanish sucks, and you suck. Like, you're not a good singer, and you're not gonna make anything out of yourself, and don't even try. Like, nobody wants a chick in the metal band. Nobody wants a chick in a rock band. And I just straight up told him, like, you know what, you're wrong. You're gonna be washed out by the time you're 30. Let's see what happens when we're 30, because we were the same age. Well, joke's on him, because here I am.
Yeah, and you see, when I was in school, I was that kid who every day I would walk down the halls with just my headphones on, listening to music, writing music,
that was
writing
me too.
lyrics.
That was me a lot. I was, not to say antisocial, but I just obsessed over a lot of music, of everything, and I think a lot of musicians need to do that. They need to not just look at the flavor of the month. They need to they need to really delve deep into what really makes them tick.
Exactly.
And if there's something that you really like, you would really dive in, experience, and then reproduce. Just so everybody can have fun with, or just to have have cherishable moments with.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
That's how I pursued a lot of musical diversities in my life. I've been I keep telling her the story that I've been like almost in 9 bands in the Valley, and not one of them has had success. But
they've all cut albums.
We all cut albums, but we've been very, very, very successful in our own ways. But when it came to the music, man, that to me, it's all about experiences.
It
You know,
is.
and if you're not well experienced, man, you really have to go. You know, you need to take some soul searching.
Hmm.
You know, and without that, you really find out who you are and what you can provide,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
that really makes a big difference now.
It definitely does, and then that's why when I invite people over to chill with me and hang, they hear my playlist and they're like, "What this?" And then I'll go from freaking stuff like Camelot straight up to stuff of like country stuff to
Right on.
rap
Yeah.
stuff to hip hop to
Cool.
classical to
Good.
all over the spectrum. And you're like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "You don't understand. I love music,
Right.
Yeah.
and that's
Exactly.
all it is. I If it moves my soul, I like it, and that's it."
It's so crazy because we do power metal, we do symphonic metal, and a lot of people think of us as just kind of like our noses are up in the air because we do this particular style of metal and we only like that. And it's not true.
No.
Like, dude, if you looked through my iPod, I have like all three albums of Pure Moods.
Yeah.
I have classical music. I have some country music. I mean, everybody's got the dance, right?
Everybody does.
Everybody's got that on their playlist. If you don't have that, I mean, do you know music?
Right.
Don't forget that I danced, right? So, but yeah, I mean, we all have like different styles. We like different things, and whatever moves our spirit, that's what we need to gravitate towards.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's important.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's why music is the medicine for the soul, and
Yeah.
you're supposed to allow it in. I see so many people that they'll show me stuff when they're alone, and they're like, "But I can't show anybody." Fuck that, dude. Who cares what anybody thinks about your music?
Exactly.
If it moves you, it moves you. Fuck what anybody else thinks about it, man. It's not their medicine; it's your medicine.
Yeah.
And if it works for you, it works for you, and jam that. Who cares about the rest of it? I don't. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
That's why I'll wear my TLC shirt with pride and like,
Right on.
Yeah.
you know, I don't give a fuck, and and then you
Don't
see
go
people
chasing
like,
waterfalls.
yeah,
Yeah,
you go.
exactly.
I have my TLC shirt. It says, "Don't want no scrubs" on it.
There you go.
I'm
Woo.
like, that's me. I'm like, I like just music, and I think that's one of the first things that actually me and you, we were talking about. We were talking about all the different kinds of music, and then you had told me you were doing teaching with kids with music, and I was like, as soon as you said that, I was like, I will support you forever. Because you were taking care of kids and music, and that is amazing.
Right on.
Well, we both do it. We're
Yes.
both teachers, and well, I teach choir. So, I mean, I just kind of grew up into it. My folks are musicians, and my parents my father's a mariachi, so a lot of people know who he is here in the area. And my mom did the mariachis for a couple years, and now she does church music. She's on her way right now. Actually, she just retired, so she's on her way to get published.
Congratulations.
Congratulations,
So-
definitely.
We're to see what happens. And then my brother lives in LA, and he plays music. He plays in indie groups, and
Nice.
he played in metal bands here in the Valley, and a lot of people knew him and stuff. And he's a really good guitar player. But he moved to LA. He's a graphic designer out there. He works in the movie industry, and so
Nice.
he has a band out there that he plays with called Marla.
Oh,
And
nice.
he's pretty proud of it. And then my sister, she's an opera singer. She goes to the university.
Nice.
She's gonna be a choir director too. So she's on her way as well, budding career and things like that.
Nice.
Music, man, it rocks our world. It's been our whole livelihood. And then with him, it made sense.
Yes.
Yeah,
A little
it
bit.
makes sense.
Yes. you know, the first time I was sitting scrolling across Facebook, and you guys announced that you guys together. I looked at my friend. I was like,
It just made sense. Yeah.
finally this
Yeah.
happens.
I
Okay,
had to
cool.
shack up somewhere.
I was like, it makes sense. It connects. I was like, it was just like pink. I was like, this is
Yeah.
like the most obvious couple in all the valley. Like, yes, it makes sense
Like
because
Sonny and Cher.
it's
Hey, didn't
very
they get divorced?
Well, I fell
little
down
bit-
skis and hit a tree, so
right. It's like
who's
it's,
got the happier
it's-
ending?
Dang.
It's very rare
Not me.
that you can meet a person who
Gets it.
gets it, who
Yeah.
and understands it, and just totally embraces it like you do. And a lot of people freak with me and my wife because I'm this rocking metalhead and punk rock guy and listens to ska and power metal, and she's country. And country as country can get. Like this chick, I have to remind her to put shoes on to go to the store. Like, she's legit country. And people were like, how does it work? And I said, because that's just our outer appearance. Our souls are different things. And we understand on a different level on our souls. We believe in different things. We believe that it's not right to treat anybody like crap, no matter what their status is, no matter who they are or what country they come from or what religion they believe in or who they believe in voting for. Human is human, and people are people, and we all deserve to be treated right. You know, me and my wife are the people that go out and we want to make sure that people are good, because it sucks. It sucks out there, and I got a lot of experience in the world, being that I was homeless for a bit, and I know how it feels. I know how it feels to be in that spectrum where people think you're lower than human. And it's horrible. You know, I hate the response people give when somebody asks for a homeless guy says, hey man, can you give me like $1 for food? And they're like, nah man, because they're just going to use it for booze. So are you, fucker? And I kind of think he might need it more. He kind of has a shitty fucking day right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Like, who the fuck cares, man? You know, like, you're not. And a lot of times that these people are telling me, oh, I'm such a good person, I love to give. Okay, you're supposed to give with an open heart, man.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to give a fuck what they use it for. You did your part.
Exactly.
You helped. That's all it is. It's not a thing of you going and videoing, hey, look at I'm gonna get this guy.
That's the worst, honestly.
Monk,
that is the
dude.
worst.
Yeah.
Just give, man.
We see a lot of that, and it's like social media kind of shows the ins and outs of people's personalities. You
Indeed.
know? And you see a lot of stuff that you didn't see before. A lot of things that you wouldn't have believed would happen in the world, and they happen.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Oh, definitely.
That's crazy.
You know, there's one of my homies down here in the valley. I won't mention his name because he doesn't like getting noted for this type of shit. But this guy will literally go out and not only feed the homeless. This guy takes money out of his wallet and gives them money, and I'm not talking like $5. I'm talking like a couple hundred.
Wow.
Good on him, man. Hell
Yeah.
And he tells me all the time, don't tell me anybody who it is that does this, because I just want these people to be good.
Yeah.
I've been blessed that I have this wealth, and I should take care of my fellow man. And I'm like, dude, I would fucking vote for your ass. Like, that's what it's about, man.
Definitely.
Like,
Is he running for president? Hey.
right? Because you win, bro.
Yeah.
Because like
No
I
recounts.
look
for
at
sheriff.
it and I see the way the world's going, and I see it, and it just upsets me so much. Like, my wife freaks out with it. She's like, I don't get why you feel like that. And I'm like, certain people are just born a certain way.
Yeah.
And they just feel hurt more than other people do.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those. I am the guy who, if I see a person that I may not even know them, but I see them sad, I'm going to run up and hug them and be like, hey, man, you good, man? I got you. What's up, man?
You know a good answer to that for your wife? Honey, it's astrological. I'm sorry.
Right.
We're not wired that way. It's astrological. It's all in the papers. It's all in the books. It's all in the
You know, but I think a lot of my stuff is just being the way I was raised, and being that I was kind of forced to grow up at a young age, and it just got me to realize, like, man, all this stress isn't worth it. What like, how much stress a hug takes away.
Definitely.
It's unbelievable, and you may not even know you're stressed, and you just hug some random person that's down and out, and that makes their day, that makes your day. Boom, everybody's having a great fucking day.
Yeah.
Now, don't just go and hug a random fucking person out like that. Just be like, hey, you cool?
Not
and
during
if they
COVID.
say yeah, and you start talking
Yeah.
after you leave, be like, all right, bro, just don't do that, because if anybody listening, if you go hug a random person, you might end up in jail.
You get COVID.
Yeah.
Or get COVID. or both.
We've
Or
been
both.
substituting our hugs for fist bumps.
There you go.
Fist bump.
Boom. What's up?
Yeah.
You know, And that's how come, like, when I watched the movie, I don't know if you guys seen it, Trolls World Tour.
I've seen clips of it because we've shown it at school and stuff.
It. You two need to sit down and like totally watch this. You guys are music lovers. You guys will fucking love this movie.
Oh my gosh.
I watched this movie. Hence why I have Poppy now hanging right there on my keychain.
Well, I'll be damned. There he is.
Like,
Excuse
Poppy,
me,
the show is
it.
just so great. Just don't watch the first one. Don't watch the first one.
Okay.
Trolls World Tour.
Yes.
Trolls
World Tour, man.
Gotcha.
It's all about music.
Yeah.
And the thing is like the whole meaning behind it is that there shouldn't be no separation of music. That music should just evolve all together and just be out there. And that's the whole meaning of the movie. But there's so many things in that movie that make you think like, that's for adults.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Because like in the first movie, they have these characters called Bergens. And these guys are like these evil, bitter, salty ass trolls, you know? And then you got the trolls, and the only way that the Bergens could be happy is if they eat trolls. And I'm like, that's some fucking drugs right there.
That's some Tim Burton stuff right there.
Yeah, for real.
So yeah, that's the first one. That's why I said don't ever watch that one, because there's a part where the son troll, he's about to eat the troll, and he finds out that they're fake trolls. They're just wooden. And he's like, Dad, when am I going to be happy? And the dad's like, you're never going to be happy. Never, ever, ever, ever going to be happy. I'm like, I'm like, I can't watch that. That's so fucked up. That's some fucked up shit.
Sounds like a song in the
kids.
making right there, man.
Yeah.
I can write a song about that.
Right? It's like you see all this psychiatrists watch kids psychiatric watching and be like, we are about to make a fuckload of money off of this movie. So many kids are gonna be depressed now.
Yeah.
But
Not with all that merch.
Hey.
right. But yeah, Trolls World Tour it's really awesome because it's teaching kids about music, and anything teaching young minds about music is
That's the
fucking
message.
amazing.
That's the message. Yes.
That's right.
Yes, and I got into that. So if you guys got Hulu, it is on Hulu.
Cool, we do. Yeah.
We do.
Yes, it is on Hulu, and yeah, my wife gets crazy with it already. I'll put it on, and she'll be like, "God damn it, you're watching that show again?"
That's been me recently. Because we have YouTube TV, and you'll see like movies and stuff that you can watch, and every time I turn on YouTube TV, they're showing The Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh,
So
God damn it.
I wasn't a huge Leo DiCaprio fan, but every time that movie comes on, I have to see it. I don't know
Right.
what it is. I don't know if it's just the drama, or just seeing the rise and fall of this guy. But like, yeah, The Wolf of Wall Street.
It's all the substances.
That's right.
It's crazy. I have to see that one, and I have to see Casino when it's.
Oh, dude, Casino, yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. I'm not or like I used to call him, Leonardo DiCaprio. I wasn't a fan of his.
He's
And,
come
like,
around, man. After that whole heartthrob stuff in the
Yeah.
90s, like, yeah, I got tired of that. But then he came around and became a man
Yeah.
and started getting a little more explicit and a little vulgar. Like, yeah, this is the kind of guy I
Yeah,
can
I was
hang
like,
out with.
okay.
He's a cool guy. Hell yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, and then I think just Titanic soured me on him because I was like, man, why didn't this fool be like, bitch, curl the fuck up, and I'm gonna curl up, and we both gonna make it, cause I ain't got life insurance, so you fucked. I'm like, what the, but
It's just an iceberg. You can make it.
right. I was talking to a friend of mine. He lives out in California, and he was telling me like he works for Fox and all that over there, and he was telling me that he says, yeah, one of the things that like our group is talking about is we're talking about redoing Titanic, but doing it as like a Hispanic version.
Oh shit.
Oh wow.
And I was like, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I already know it ain't going down like it did on the other, because Juan's gonna be like, nah, fuck you, bro. You motherfucker over.
If they're gonna do that, they have to get what's his name, the guy from Mariela de Barrio, Fernando. They have to get him. Nope, they have to get Fernando.
Right. I was just like, I was laughing
Luis
with
Fernando.
I was laughing with my friend told me that. He was like, for real? He's like, yeah, dude. he's like, we're talking about it right now because he's like, they think it would be funny, like people would get a kick out of it and laugh right now. And I was like,
Yeah.
I was
Perhaps,
like,
you know, it'd
I
be
said,
possible.
but you got to be really careful with it because it is historical, and you gotta be careful with that, dude. I was like, because a lot of people gonna get their freaking asses hurt on that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I said,
It's
especially
the
family
fine line
members.
between Django Unchained and Snakes on a Plane.
Mhm.
That's a fine line.
Facts.
It's a fine line there.
And Born in East LA.
Facts.
And Born in East LA. I still quote that movie too.
Man, there's, and that's the thing. Is like I think it's so awesome that so many shows and movies from back in the past are coming back, and they're not really changing too much of it. Like November 20th, Animaniacs come back out.
Oh,
I
wow.
know, it's crazy.
Nice.
It's
And-
crazy. And Tiny Toon Adventures is coming back.
Yes,
And-
Pinky
yep.
and the Brain too.
Pinky and the Brain is coming back. I mean, it's
I-
crazy.
Warner
I
Bros.
got all-
Studios making a comeback. Awesome.
I got all excited, dude, with Animaniacs. I was like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah.
For us, well, for him especially, because one of his favorite cartoons is DuckTales. So they did the remake. But the remake wasn't as good as the original, man.
Of
Sometimes
course.
it's just like, it's a mixed thing.
It lost its charm. And
it-
a lot of these, you know, a lot of these teen shows, a lot of these cartoons and shows have a lot of this teenage sassiness that has been, you know, very influential to all these kids now. I mean, I've seen it live personally in front of
Oh,
classrooms, so
have I.
has she, and it's too much, man. And they're growing up way too fast. And it's just, you know, how can a parent handle that right now? We didn't-
exactly.
We never had that back in the 90s. It was just so,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of cartoons and animation and movies, TV shows had
Yeah.
charm. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of the charm is gone. So
Yeah, and
Well,
there's a lot of
it's-
stuff that we can't get away with anymore in cartoons like
Oh, yeah.
we used to. I mean, I was telling him like
Ren and
I
Stimpy.
grew up on
Yeah.
Ren and Stimpy. I mean I was one of those kids that snuck away to go watch MTV and watch Beavis and Butthead, Daria. I mean I watched all those cartoons when I was younger, and you know we can't get away with that anymore. Like now it's just kind of like more of an innocent sassiness,
Yeah.
but it's I don't know. I guess it doesn't appeal to us as much anymore because we're older, and it
Yeah.
makes me think like, oh, did we just grow up? Is that what happened?
we're
Well, you
adults
see,
now.
like I have like the complete series of Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, me too.
Like,
I love it.
and actually, speaking of that, that's actually one of the first things I had told you too. I was like, oh, you remind me of Daria.
I get it all the time. I have an aunt that still calls me Daria, and I used to wear glasses too, just like that. And I used to have my hair just like that.
Daria was awesome, dude.
Yeah, I love
And,
Daria.
Dude, like one of my homegirls, she got a tattoo for Daria, but she got Jan tattooed on her. And she's like, you know why I got that? I was like, what? She's like, because Daria gets all the fucking shine. and there's Jan. I said, but that's the way it was supposed to be. Jan's the fucking antisocial.
Yeah.
And then Daria's the antisocial, but she's the smart ass. Is like, yeah, I'm right here in your face, though.
The
Yeah.
book smart one.
Yes. And she's like, okay, makes sense, but I like Jan. I was like, Jan was cool, though.
Yeah, I liked her style. I definitely did.
Definitely.
But I felt like I related more to Daria.
Oh,
And we are always quoting it, and we're like, Queen, can you bring me that shirt from over there?
Oh man,
Fred.
we watch a lot of
We
Daria.
watch a lot.
It's on Hulu, by the way. So
Yeah.
we watch
Yes, it
Daria
is.
religiously. We love that show, man. It's very good.
Yeah,
I love Daria.
Short,
And-
sweet, to the point, but I wish it would come back. So
yeah, definitely.
Oh yes, that's one of the ones that I've been like, oh, I want them to bring it back, but I don't want them to fuck it up.
Yeah, exactly.
They
'Cause
will.
I will lose my shit.
they will.
It's like,
Yeah.
you know,
It's
MTV,
2020.
think about this. Drop all the reality shows and bring all the old school stuff back and bring back music videos, man.
Well, actually,
At the very least.
on Spectrum, they have a channel called MTV Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. It's music videos. They show Beavis and Butthead. They show Daria. They show Headbangers Ball.
Great.
Yeah.
All that on
But
there.
but they should offer it for like cable for everyone, you know what I mean? Yeah, because I know I used to have Spectrum. Now we have YouTube TV. We don't have MTV Classic, which is a bummer. But yeah, dude, I used to watch like Metal Signs. I used to watch all those shows when I had it.
Like, my wife used to get pissed off with it because I'll sit up all night and I'll watch like 120 minutes.
Yes.
And all that. And I'm like,
Yes.
oh, yeah. And she's like, Okay, I'll let you relive your glory days.
And what was even cooler about that was because of the music videos, a lot of unsigned groups got airplay like at 2 a.m. So they like the whole thing in the 80s and the 90s was you had to make a music video.
Yep.
And you had to you had to record a cassette or you had to cut an album.
Yep.
And so, yeah, it's crazy, man.
That's you know, speaking of that, that's quite an evolution for a lot of bands.
Yeah.
You know, 70s, 80s, 70s barely had any music TV. 80s had all the music TV, and that was the platform they needed to succeed.
And
90s
we
transitioned.
Yep.
boom. 90s towards the end of the 90s, it started getting like that show Singled Out
Yes, the
that Singled Out
internet.
was the downfall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was the first one, Singled Out, and then it said,
The internet came,
And
from
then Napster,
there,
and then Napster just came and like, bye.
Napster came out, and then Metallica was like, "Fuck that shit." Lars.
There was there
3
was
words,
the
man.
big-
Lars was right.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was the big fight of the decade, really.
You know, and speaking of bands that like did some awesome shit for music, one person I give a lot of shout out to for that is Jared Leto. When they created their first album with Sony Records, they got done with it, and Jared was like, "Hey, you know what? We just did this badass tour. We did the album. They pretty much that first album, they did the album. The day it dropped, they were already touring."
Yeah. Wow.
And so he was like, "We've had no time with our family. We've had no time to rest. We need some time off. While we're off, we'll write.
Yeah.
We'll make a new album." And they were like, "Well, no, we want it in like 6 months. We want a new album out. We want it this way. We want it that way." And Jared Leto was like, "You know what? Fuck you guys."
Yeah.
He sued the shit out of him.
Wow.
He won. That's the reason why Sony Records now has it in all their contracts, creative freedom.
Good.
Because Jared Leto was like, "Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
You're not going to take my music and turn it to what you want." He's like, "I don't want to be some poppy bullshit that everybody likes because it's what's hip. I want my shit to have a meaning. I want it to last."
Yeah.
You know? And after that, I was like, dude, fucking respect, dude.
Yeah.
Anybody to step up to a fucking corporate giant like that and risk their total career for it, dude,
Yeah.
fuck yeah.
He is Jared Leto. They're gonna let him.
Yeah.
They better let him.
And
And it speaks a lot, especially for like the unsigned artist industry right now, because it used to be where if you didn't matter unless you were on a record label, and now being unsigned and doing just the Bandcamp thing, you know, and doing the internet thing, like you can still be big without a record label now.
for sure.
And it's crazy. But we've had offers, like especially when we did Doom Desire, we were offered by a couple record companies, like they wanted to sign us right away and they wanted us to start doing the whole thing. But, you know, like I said, like the guys kind of moved on to other things. So we were just kind of like, you know, maybe it's time for us to kind of fix things in our own lives and get our crap together a little bit. And so, and we did.
You know,
And it really helped.
Timing is everything, man. And
it
a lot of that
is.
timing needs to, lock into place. But, personnel problems with our band members and stuff like that is just, it wasn't bad stuff. It was just, stuff that needed to happen for themselves, personal growth. And
Absolutely.
stuff like that. We're, like I said, we're never on bad blood with them, but,
Yeah.
they just,
They're still like family to us.
Oh, absolutely.
We still hang, we still, And then with the new group, those guys are like our brothers too,
yeah, very mature guys,
Yeah,
so,
definitely, man. I remember back in the days with Doom Desire, you guys used to do a lot of shows with Moonlust and Lucid Decree
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And actually, that's how I met Chris, which, thank God I met Chris. Because I love that fucking guy so fucking much. He cracks me up every time.
Super
I talk to
talented
him.
guy, man. Very talented.
Yeah.
Oh, amazingly talented. I had heard him singing, and actually, when I first walked in, it was you guys were playing, and I was coming to see Doom Desire. Moonlust was playing, and Chris was singing Dio.
Right.
And I was like, oh, fuck. Anybody who is ballsy enough to sing Dio is a bad motherfucker. I'll just say it now, because it's fucking Dio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
We still have a lot of respect for Chris. We played in a band with Chris. It was, when we were Valgood, it was all 6, 7, 8 of us playing in one group, and so
Tiny little stage.
Yeah, and on tiny little stage that we had like 2, 3 guitar players, 2 keyboardists, a a drummer in a pear tree, 3 singers, like
3 singers. Yeah.
yeah, we were 3 singers. A
Damn.
growler, a male vocalist, which was Chris,
Chris.
and myself. I was the opera
Dude.
the backing, and so it was insane. But from Valgood, we kind of all sprawled off into other projects, and so it was either Doom Desire or it was Moonlust or it was other projects, and so
Yeah.
I still cherish that experience because we made that connection with each other. Like we all knew that we all had something in common. We were all there for a purpose.
Yeah.
And even if it was to have a sound that was, we were like the Valley's Cradle of Filth.
Yes.
In a
Oh,
way to put it.
absolutely.
I guess in a way to put it, like if that was us, like we were gonna own that, and then we were gonna use that to our advantage. And so we were very proud of the stuff that we did with Valgood too.
Very awesome. Well, let's get into some of y'all's stuff. I believe we got some of your music that we can put out there tonight.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What do we got lined up first, Jay?
We have Voice of Illusion.
Okay.
So this is the second single off of our new album that's going to be coming out this season. We don't have an official release date yet, but we will very soon. So we're saying winter season, just in time for the holidays. And our new album is called Presidio in Animo, which means for the protection of the mind, which is kind of based off of our first single, Within These Walls. So Voice of Illusion kind of talks about, all those people that you hear out there talking on the news, all those people that you hear spewing all these things, and how it can encompass and how people can get so easily influenced by those kind of things. So you're going to hear a lot of that. Huh?
It's a great song to play at this time.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Do it.
absolutely. All right, so here we go, guys. Ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. Okay, guys. So that was some kicking ass jams. I'm gonna let them go ahead and talk to you guys about the last jam. We threw you guys a little bonus. So guys, you guys want to go ahead and tell them about the last song that we played?
Sure. The last song you just recently heard was "Within These Walls," and like we were talking earlier amongst ourselves, that it really only took two people to get that song done, and that was just myself and Ina right here. Again, I just write the music. I really had no preconceived notion as to what kind of concept was going to happen with that piece alone. I just needed to make it fast. I needed to make it, heavy. I needed to make it powerful, ultra symphonic, and all that can be summed up in just one word, and that is epic. And if it doesn't sound epic, I'm gonna have some issues with it. But that's just me, and that's just my personal taste. And that was I believe that was possibly my last song that I wrote within the batch of songs that I wrote for this album. So it was a great experience to write that album and to write that song. I'd like to give props to my band members for that. Currently we have Pete Oliva on guitar. He couldn't make it, or actually due to COVID restrictions,
He wasn't able to come.
we weren't able to make it as a complete unit. Mm-hmm. But next week you will hear a lot about us, and a whole lot less of us, a whole lot more of them, because you heard enough of us already.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And our other guitar
and
player.
Rhythm guitar player, we have Felipe Hernandez, and those guys. Actually, Felipe was my first guitarist that I've auditioned, and he stuck around, and he's done a fantastic job of just staying loyal, and staying, like a good brother in terms of, keeping the band together and keeping the sound, going and going and going. And we just grow as musicians,
Yeah.
And same for Pete. Pete and Felipe were the first two, and they stuck around,
And that's really what I feel like makes a band loyalty.
Loyalty,
the fact that they were so loyal to.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, they were so loyal to this project because it started off in VC's bedroom in Harlingen.
Yep.
And then it evolved, and now we're homeowners, now we've got a house to write music with and stuff. Yeah.
The songs are on radios now, and
yeah,
I'm just shocked that it's getting the airplay that it rightfully could deserve.
Yeah,
well,
but
it does deserve it, and
definitely, thank you.
That's the whole point behind this, is that I want to give musicians like you guys the spotlight you deserve. I think that radio is shite right now.
Yeah.
Because they play whatever the fuck tickles everybody else's nutsack.
Yeah.
And they don't play the stuff that is real fucking music. And I think that is a big reason why a lot of people go to Spotify. A lot of people go to iHeartRadio and all that. They can pick and choose what they get to listen to, and it's not the same thing over and over every hour on the hour.
Yep.
And that the thing that radio stations need to understand is that that's destroying the beauty of music.
Yeah.
And there's bands that deserve it. There is so many bands in the valley that deserve that radio spot, that they could totally fill a full day every day for years to come with fresh music that is actual real musicians that are busting their ass, not these corporate dickheads that are like, oh, well, this is going to make me another $1 million, so I'm going to write that, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to look like this. Real musicians that say, you know what, this is my heart and soul that I'm putting out before you. And that's why I do this, is because those are the artists that I see deserve that spotlight. Not these people that have sold out arenas and don't give two shits and a fuck about their fan base.
Yeah.
It's those ones that really give a fuck about their fan base and will see a person that is in need and be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to spend a little extra time with you. Give you some attention. Care about you. Comment on the fucking post when somebody says, hey, you know what? That was a badass fucking show.
Yeah.
So many times people will post their heart and soul to a musician and never get even a fucking like.
Yeah.
And it's sad because these musicians have lost reality and they don't understand that without that fan base, they don't have that star anymore.
I agree.
Yeah, they let it get to their heads, because they start to see the success of their music. They fall into the trap of, I'm signed, so I'm legit,
Yeah.
and I can't be touched. And but the reality is even a lot of the bands that are signed are struggling to make it now. The
absolutely.
industry is really changing,
Oh, absolutely.
and there's like you don't get to like Kiss status anymore. You know Kiss, Gene Simmons,
Yeah.
where I mean the guy made his millions off of Kiss and merchandising for Kiss and
Makes
Kiss.
millions off toilet paper now.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and the reality show and like people don't get the big houses and all that anymore.
No.
They don't get rich off of music anymore unless you're in the pop industry. But in the heavy metal industry or in the rock industries, people don't make a lot of money. You have to really be passionate about what it is that you do. And some people, if they do make a lot of money, unfortunately, they let that money get to their head, or their ideals
Yeah.
get to their head, and it's real sad because
It absolutely
you know.
is. And one of my favorite musicians, Scott Weiland,
Oh yeah, great
he's-
singer, man.
he
Yeah.
said it perfectly. He said, in this day and age in music, he said, we are in the studio for 2 months, and the rest of the time we are on the road just to pay our bills.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that's why I strongly encourage, if I have any young people listening and starting to get into music, please get into music because you love it.
Yeah.
This is not a payday.
Yeah.
And chances of you ever getting it to a chance of being at a payday are slim to none. It really is in this day and age. You really have to bust your ass and really love what you love to do. I mean,
That's right.
that's just the end of it. At the end of the day, if you're in it for money, you're going to be a very sad person because it is not going to work out for you.
Yep.
It just is not. I see so many bands that say we're going to be these big rock stars, and they have it in their mind that they're going to
They're
be
gonna be
this
big thing.
Motley Crue status, and I'm like,
It's not
it just
happening.
doesn't happen unless you're a poppy band.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen.
It's all
And
in
if
their
you-
head.
Yeah.
Every
And even if
now
you
and
are a poppy band, the record companies, they own you. They own
For
your
life.
music, and you're tied into that, and it's difficult. And it's so crazy because you know how you were saying, like, a lot of musicians, they won't even like your comments, and it's so crazy because like with like all the everybody right now is talking about the election stuff. And one of my favorite musicians, she's from California. Her and her husband are progressive rock musicians. Progressive rock, let me rephrase that, pioneers of that industry. Lana Lane and Eric
Oh,
Norlander.
Yes.
Eric Norlander from The Rocket Scientist and his own solo music, and his wife Lana Lane are amazing musicians. And she expressed her opinion about things going on right now in the United States with the elections. And you know what? I completely agreed with her because she straight up said it, like, what's going on right now, like all this crazy talk about suing people for votes, it's garbage. And I was like, you're one of the only prog musicians that has actually given a valid opinion and is talking sense, like, and I have to like applaud you because she made sense. Like,
Yeah.
those guys are amazing musicians,
Yeah.
and they're tied in with all that beautiful sounds that come from California. They're tied in with all those amazing artists,
Yes.
and we look up to those guys. Like I was in college, I was listening to Eric Norlander and Lana
Yes.
Lane. Like, those guys kick ass, and we love them.
Absolutely, they do.
Yeah.
And that's my thing, is that I've always geared towards music and musicians that are real people. Pink Floyd by far is my favorite band of all times. I've
Yes.
literally kicked chicks that I dated out of my fucking car for saying they didn't like Pink Floyd.
You are not legit unless you own Dark Side on vinyl.
I own Dark Side. I own The Wall. I own Wish You Were Here.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
Floyd, that is literally the first poster that ever hung in this apartment, was my Floyd poster.
I'm a Division Bell kind of guy.
Oh, what did I just told my wife that. I said, the album that I want the most is Division Bell. I don't have that on vinyl yet. I need it on vinyl.
I mean, if you can hear all those layers of choirs and symphony
Yeah.
on that album alone, it's like, that's us. That's
Yeah.
something I could really use
Oh,
for our
man.
future sound. So
I was about 6 years old, and my pops took me to go see Pink Floyd. And
what?
the
Really?
Look,
You saw Pink Floyd?
and the look that my mom had on her face was like, oh, fuck.
We're not worthy, bro.
Yeah.
We're not worthy right now.
We suck.
should be
We
interviewing you.
suck.
And that's the moment that just changed everything for me. When I saw Floyd, I was like,
Wow.
Wow.
what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And I told me that I'm gonna do that the rest of my life. I'm going
Yes.
to do that. Like, oh my god. And Floyd has always been my guidance for everything, and it's a lot of the reason why I'm so into peace and love. And I will not ever take my peace bracelet off for shit. And I believe in it wholeheartedly. I don't care if people are like, oh, you're naive for that. Fuck that. You know what? Let me be me. I don't give a fuck about what you do. Don't fucking fuck with me and what I want to do.
Exactly.
If I want to fucking go around and spread peace and love and unicorn love, fuck you. That's my business.
Yeah.
Right on.
Exactly.
You know? And I've always been that way. And if somebody really gets me and I fucking go off on them, oh, it took a lot to get me there.
Yeah.
And when I do get there, they're gonna wish I didn't get there.
Exactly.
Because I'm gonna tell them all the fucking facts that they never wanted to fucking hear. Because I don't play that burn you like this or that. I bring you straight facts.
Good.
Exactly.
And I don't play that because the only thing that really gets me really going is somebody who is bullying somebody on Facebook. They do that, I'm like, oh, you want to play that? You want to see how that fucking feels? To be fucking belittled like that? You're about to find out because I don't play that.
Yeah.
I think that is a coward. I think that's bullshit. You should not belittle a person because of their belief or the way they look or anything about them. That is BS. And I see that a lot in the music scene. I see it fucking so much.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, well, I got more money than you, so fuck you.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's religion, it's politics, it's classism. I mean, it's those divisions though that are supposed to bring us together. They're not supposed to continually divide us.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because it has to be around the right company. Like I don't talk about it often, but I'm Catholic.
Yeah.
I grew up Catholic. I have always been Catholic, and people have given me so much shit for it. It's insane, especially being in the metal scene because, they expect you to be, into the devil and stuff. And it's just not, that's too hip for me. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
I get
oh,
you.
yeah, like whatever, like let me do what I got to do. Like I believe in God. I'm Catholic. Like I grew up in the church. My first job was actually as a sound tech at church.
There
I did
you
that
go.
for 10 years.
There's
And
nothing wrong with that. You see,
yeah.
I tell people all the time, like, I'm a person who, I've gone through the different religions and all that stuff like that. I'm an ordained minister. Like, I know my Bible. I know all the different religions and all that. And for me, it's just me saying, you know what? I don't want to believe in a God. I just want to be peaceful and be positive. And I don't want a book to tell me how to be or anything. I just want to be a good fucking person.
And we respect your choice. You know what I mean?
And that's how I am with you guys.
Yeah.
And I tell people, I can't very well sit here and say peace and love and then tell a person, oh, you're a Christian, I can't hang with you. You're a Catholic, I can't be around you.
And you'd be surprised how many times that actually happens.
Oh,
And they're
I
like,
get it a lot.
or they'll tell him too, like, oh, your chick's Catholic. Like, get out of here. Y'all are boring. Or like, you're all are lame. And they tell it. I mean, we've heard it all, man.
Oh yeah.
I've been straight up told too, in the opposite spectrum, that I'm going to hell because I'm Catholic, by Baptist.
Of course.
And it's crazy, like, or by evangelicals because I'm Catholic, and they've told me straight up like that I'm going to hell.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, if I'm going, I'll see you there.
Exactly. That's
You
how
ever,
I am.
you ever see that scene in Selena, the movie, where Edward James Olmos was riding that van of theirs? We're not Mexican not Mexican enough for the Mexicans. We're not white enough for the white people.
Yeah.
What are we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so stressful.
Exactly, and it's so
hard.
stupid. I mean, like I get a lot of people who
never
tell me that
enough.
too. That
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, you have a Hispanic name, but you don't speak full Spanish," and I'm like,
Yes.
"No," or "Oh, you're a Hispanic name, but you're not a Catholic." No, I'm not. I mean, I am who I am, but at the end of the day, I'm still a good person because I believe in peace and love, and I believe in being a positive person and not harming a person. If I hurt somebody and they cry, I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, man. What? Come on, man." Like, I don't like hurting people, and that's why I tell people, your religion is your religion. Your belief is your belief. All I ask is, please don't try to force it on me. You can educate me on it. Just don't force it.
Exactly.
And I will not force my shit on you. and that's the way it should be.
I feel like there's like a fine difference between being religious and believing in a faith.
Yes.
You know, people who are religious, I feel like they try to press their beliefs on people, whether it be willingly or unwillingly or
Yeah.
unknowingly. You know, they try to press their beliefs on people because they either feel like those people are they're being lost and they need to save them to redeem themselves in some sort of way. But if you have faith, and you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
you have to be strong in your faith.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
if you know, I'm like I said, I'm Catholic, and if people aren't cool with that, you know,
That's on them.
yeah, exactly. Like it's not my problem, and I don't have a problem with people who are agnostic, atheists. Some of my best friends, believe it or not, Luciferians,
Yeah.
agnostics, atheists, or you know, they're really hardcore Christians. Some of my best friends from 20 years ago, or they're pagans, or they're, you know what I mean. But I respect their decisions
Yeah.
because it's not my faith to force other people to believe what I need to believe.
Yeah.
It's in my faith that I respect the light in you, and you respect the light in me.
There you
And
go.
and God's first commandment was love one another
Yes.
as He loved you,
Yes.
and that's what I live by.
Yeah, and that's what I tell people all the time, you see, because I have friends of mine that are like hardcore Christians and they love the hell out of me. And I'll educate them when they're out of line on their Bible. I'll be like, no, no, no. You know, and they tell me all the time, that blows my mind that you're this guy that don't believe in a religion and you freaking know this. I said, believe you, this is why. Is because in order for you to be able to fully say you don't believe in a religion, you have to understand the religions.
Mhm.
Because you can't just say, oh, I don't believe in it because it doesn't fit suit my life. No, fuck that, dude. You got to read into it, look into it, because there's a lot of things that I take out of Christianity, Buddhism, paganism, all over that I apply into my life. And I just don't believe that I believe that, you know, just be a good fucking person, you know, and good things will happen. I don't think a person should have to have a book to tell them how to be. And I meet so many Christians that say, well, it's because I do this because that's what this says.
Yeah.
No. You shouldn't do it because of that. You should do that because you want to be closer to your Father.
Exactly. You, excuse me. You shouldn't want to do it because a book tells you to do it. You should want to do it because it's in your heart.
Yes, absolutely.
And if God is really with you and God speaks through you, you'll
Yeah.
have the answers within. The answers come from within.
Absolutely, and that's why I don't mind people that believe in faith and are like that, because I'm like, yes, that's the way it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a thing of the person just sitting there condemning you the whole time, because the only one that can condemn you is Christ Himself, God Himself.
That's right.
No one else can condemn you. No one else has that right.
Exactly.
And if people really want to get to the bare nakedness of it, Christ Himself freaking hung out with the tax collectors and the
Yeah.
people that were considered filth.
He sat at the table with whores and tax collectors.
Yes, and
He was the guy. You know what I mean? He was as liberal gets.
yeah,
And I think a lot of people, some people don't realize that. Like
Oh, yeah.
if there was any more of a hippie, it was Jesus.
Oh, absolutely.
And
You
he
know,
was
and
he was all about love, and he didn't hate. You know.
yeah, and that's how I try to be as much as I can, because I believe in love so much. I just do. I think it takes less energy to be a positive person than it does to be a negative Nancy.
Just like they say,
Yeah.
it takes only 4 muscles to smile, but it takes 40 muscles to frown.
You know, and it's absolutely true, you know, and I think a lot of it is just I've been through so many dark times that I don't want it anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be a good person. I want to be positive and make sure people don't hurt anymore, you know, as much as I possibly can. And I hope that other people get on that bandwagon with me and they ride in that fucking stagecoach to make people happy.
Yep.
You know, because a lot of people need to get it through their head that we do live in a very diverse country, an extremely diverse country, one of the most diverse countries in the world. And we need to understand that there is going to be people that have different ideologies and different things that they want in life, and we need to embrace them. I think the only time we need to step in and say fuck no is if when they're trying to harm a child. And other than that, fuck it. If two consensual adults want to do whatever the fuck they want to do, then let them fucking do what the fuck they want to do. That's their fucking business. And the thing is that I see a lot of people in the country say, well, we do this because of God. Okay, but this is the thing you
Can't
keep
blame.
fucking
Yeah.
forgetting.
They blame him,
What
and
they
that's what
do.
they're doing. They're blaming him, and
They
it's
do.
not fair. Like
And the
you
thing
can't
is
do that.
this: the ultimate thing I tell these people when they tell me that, I say, okay, so you're a Christian, you're a Catholic, you're whatever. Okay, you believe in Jesus, you believe in God. Okay, so this is the thing: when you say that, then you're saying that the fact that God gave us free will means nothing to you.
Yeah, exactly.
So if a person wants to abort a child, that's their free will. That is what God gave them. God told them, you have free will. I died for your sin. You have free will. And then when government comes in and says, oh, no. That's saying that God didn't know what he was talking about. So therefore, you're just endorsing the person who just said the faith that you believe in is wrong.
Because it's extremist.
Yes.
It's when extremists take control of the laws, they take them and they skew them into things that are not helpful for society.
Yeah.
You know, you look at most countries in the world, most successful countries in the world, and they, they take care of their people.
Yeah.
And that's what was the downside here in the States. Like, yeah, we are the land of the free, but they don't take care of their people like they should take care of their
No,
people.
not at all.
Like, if they were taking care of their people, we would have Medicare for all. We would have, these programs to help people, in their time of need. There are programs out there, but I feel like we could do more. We could always do more.
Well,
we could always
we can
improve.
absolutely do more. I believe that America, we should never ever have a veteran sleeping on the street.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Homelessness,
yeah.
hunger.
You-
Children go hungry every day in this country.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You look at it, this is that like I do a lot of research on money that goes out in the country and stuff, and we spend more money to rehab drug addicts than we do to take veterans off the street.
And military.
And how is that right? Here's a person who willfully injected a drug that they knew was an addictive drug. Heroin is not a new drug. I mean, many people have died from it. You've seen the facts. It's been out there. It's not propaganda. It's not theory. You've seen it happen. It's fact now. But yet, you still choose to do it. But yet, we can spend the money for them. But we cannot give any money to veterans to keep them off the streets. Give them better psychiatric care.
And these are the people that fought for our country,
Yeah.
fought for our freedoms, and then they came home to... And you know what's even crazier? A lot of them were Mexican nationals, crossed the border, fought for our country, and were promised citizenship.
And then sent back.
And then they were deported
Yeah.
as veterans.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I watched this show. I'll send you a link. This guy on YouTube. He's actually bringing awareness to that. He is traveling to every state in the nation and bringing awareness to this to make that change. He's a really cool cat, and I watch him a lot. And I'll send you a link to this guy. And he does this, and he'll tell you if he's in your area, so that you can join with him.
Wow.
To go against Congress and go against the state to say, hey, this needs to be changed. This is wrong. A man who serves and is willing to sacrifice his life for this country, that is the ultimate key to this country. How are you going to let them fight for this country and then send their asses back?
Yep.
And the only way that these guys can become American citizens again is when they die.
And that's very sad.
That's fucked up.
They don't die with honors either.
They don't.
Yeah.
They and it's so fucked up because this man was willing to give his body everything so that he can have a piece of this freedom, and he doesn't even get to taste the freedom that he fought for.
Exactly.
That's just fucked.
That's
That is
messed
just
up.
fucked. That's like you winning the fucking lotto and you go in and cash your ticket in and they're like, oh no. This goes to America. Fuck you.
Yeah.
That's exactly what the American government did to these veterans. They fuck you.
Yeah.
You're no good. Bye bye.
Yeah.
And
it's
it's
super
fucked.
unfortunate. Super unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. I agree, man. And I could very well sit here saying that I have a sponsor 5x5 that is all veterans. That place is veteran owned, veteran ran, and I can't very well sit here in a good conscience and not speak about something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that is totally fucked to do that to a person who was willing to give everything when you have people here who aren't even willing to go get a fucking job and pay tax just so that they don't have to pay fucking taxes.
Yeah.
But yet we're gonna take care of them, but we're gonna say fuck you to our veteran. Yeah, that really shows a really good strong thing for America, you know.
Exactly.
And I don't blame kids who say, well, I don't want to join.
No, I don't blame them either, because once they join, then they know that they're sacrificing their bodies to become the property of the United States. And what is it worth? A free college?
Yeah.
Is it worth their life?
And then after that, what? You know,
to not get taken care of the way they're supposed to be taken care of, it's not fair. It's not right.
It isn't.
And it's problems like that, and like I said, hunger, homelessness, the drug problems in this country, those things need to be tackled in the hopefully new presidency. Those things need to be tackled. Those issues have to be tackled, because our country is going into disarray, and we spend more money in military expenses than we do taking care of our own people.
Yeah.
And the people here, and even in our state, we need to take care of our people.
Oh, absolutely. We absolutely do.
We need to take care of home.
There was this thing that came out on the news about these kids, young kids, high school kids. They would go out every day, wash cars, raise money, so that they can build homes for veterans. Yeah. And I was like,
that's awesome.
That's fucking amazing that these kids are doing that when most kids are trying to raise money to get the new PS5. These kids are out raising money so they can build home for veterans and get them off the street. I was like, you know what? You give me hope that there's going to be a good fucking government one day. People thinking in that mentality is a beautiful thing. And anybody who tells anybody other than that, come speak to me, because I will whoop your ass. Do not ever discourage a person for being a good person.
Yeah.
It's
the beauty of that too is I get to see a lot of that through my students.
Yeah.
Because a lot of my students, I work with the middle school age and high school age kids, and seeing them go out there and do those projects, not because they have to, but because they genuinely want change in their area.
Yeah.
It's awesome to see that, because I teach I feel privileged. I feel more blessed, I think, than they do being with me, because I feel blessed to know those kids. They're amazing kids. I work and service the South Far area, and so they're amazing musicians. They're amazing kids. We're even going to go and support one tomorrow, because they're doing tamales sales for their church.
That's awesome.
And I was telling them, hey, let's go buy some tamales, support my kid. So we're going to go out there tomorrow and go pick some up from the church and stuff.
Absolutely
and,
amazing.
We try to help out as much as we can for our kids.
I for the record, I go to church for the food.
Right.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. Church does have some good food. I'll tell you that.
Look at me. Obviously it does.
Obviously. But yeah, man, I guess we're at that point of the show where we are going to do some shout outs to the people we want to. So we will start with you guys.
Sure, I'll give some shout outs. Number one, my band members, Pete Oliva and Felipe. Couldn't be here without you guys, man. I wish you guys were here. Again, COVID restrictions, we understand. You understand. And next week we'll kill it.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. Big shout outs to the man with the master plan, Mr. Abbey Road himself, Mr. Josh Lopez at Widowmaker Studios.
Yes. That's our boy, Josh.
Yeah,
Josh,
he's like,
love you, brother.
He's the go-to guy when it comes to getting things done for bands. Period.
Yes. And not only has he helped produce the album, he's played on a couple songs.
Yes.
Nice.
I hired him, because at the time I had nobody. Like we talked about starting the band literally from my bedroom on an iPad.
Yeah. That's literally how we started.
Where it is right now, and I had nobody to go to because I need, obviously I'm a drummer. I'm not the most technically skilled musician when it comes to guitar playing, but I had a lot of, a lot of theory practice on piano. I just transcribed from piano to guitar, and he did the majority of it, and he was just kind of blown away as to how well constructed the songs were. And I told him, look, dude, it's super easy. I can help you out, and he helped me out, and sure enough, the end result is what you hear right now.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And it would, I'd like to hear
Talking
some more.
about people that get it. Josh
People that get it
gets
right away.
Yes.
No questions asked. No nothing.
Yeah.
And I think that guy, deserves a lot of credit because he listens
Yes.
to the musician. He's like, "What do you want? I'll give it to you."
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
He doesn't really provoke. Not provoke's not the right word, but he doesn't really prod the musician. It's like, okay, maybe
he
you should do
doesn't.
this, maybe you should do that. No, he asks us first. What is it you want?
Yeah.
And I'll give it to you. And then from
Yeah.
there, he'll take it from there in the producer aspect. So, and that's great. A great
Yeah.
character to have.
And then that's one thing I like about Josh is that he will listen to the musician.
Yes.
But if he hears something in it and he's like, oh, you know what? But maybe you should do just this.
Yes.
I'm gonna suggest this because it's gonna make this sound better like this.
Yes.
He will put that in there, and I think a producer needs to do that.
Yes.
I've gone in and recorded with producers who are just like, okay, push the button, and they're like, okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
give me
Yeah.
money, and
Exactly.
I love how Josh is so into with whoever he's working with.
Yeah.
He gets 100% involved in it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, wait, you don't like this? Okay, let's fix it like this, and let's do this, and let's do this. And that's why his music comes out so fucking amazing when he records people.
Yep.
I'm blown away with this guy. When I first heard him, I was like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, man.
You're
That
so
guy
great at
is
it."
so talented at such a young age. Like
Yep.
he's got the whole future ahead of him.
Oh,
Yes.
He'll be
fuck
bigger than what he is right now. Just
Yeah.
just wait till COVID's over, man. That guy's got the whole world ahead of him.
Oh.
He'll have it in his hand, literally.
Oh yes.
And more shout outs. I have JD De La Rosa at Negative Audio Studios out in Mission.
Nice.
Yep.
That guy's a supreme musician when it comes to grindcore music. He's done so much for the grindcore scene. It's ridiculous what that guy's done.
Yep.
I think a lot of grindcore needs to be established here in the valley because if there's
absolutely.
one genre that needs to come out, it's a lot of the grindcore scene, and that guy is the go-to guy for that.
Absolutely.
Period! Exclamation mark. So
Definitely.
I mean, I thank him a lot because he really gave me the open opportunity to really record my drums for the album. It's been a dream of mine, and I've always wanted to record my drums in the biggest, outlandish, ridiculously fancy drum studio that could ever happen. That could possibly just come to my mind. And he said, "Yeah, I'll just ask the guy." And that guy was Charlie Vela. And
Nice.
Charlie Vela, he owned a studio called Sound of Rain, and I literally had my fanciest drums in the biggest studio with 25 mics just to record my drums for the album. Again.
Yeah.
And it's a funny story with that album, with that whole timeline. This was recorded in 2017 in November, December, and I recorded my drums then, and my goodness, I never experienced such an experience as such. He gave me that opportunity, and I thank him so much, JD. Thank you so much for giving that opportunity, and thank you, Charlie, for having that. I know your studio's, not there anymore, but hey, you did it, you experienced it, and thank you so much.
And we appreciate you.
We appreciate you a lot, my guy.
We love you,
My
JD.
goodness. JD and Josh, man, thank you so much, guys.
No
Appreciate it.
homo. We love y'all. A couple more shout outs. I'm going to give a shout out to my very good friend and coworker, Mariana Limon. She did our photo shoots for the album,
Nice.
and she made her mask tonight. So I have to give it a shout out to the Valkyrie Warrior mask. So these are our masks. Put your mask on, bro. Dallas. He gets to be Daddy Dallas for tonight. So I'm going to give a shout out to my homegirl, Mariana. Thank you so much, Mariana, for doing our photo shoot. I mean, she's such a good friend of mine. And her husband, Juan, we're all really good friends, man. We hang out all the time and stuff. And so I appreciate you, girl. You my girl. And we also do want to give a shout out to the girl that designed our album, Gogo Malone, the singer from Aeolian Sorrow in Europe. So we commissioned...
Greece, to be exact.
Yes, we commissioned her to design. Well, we commissioned one of her her artworks for the album. We saw it and we said we have to buy this like right now. And she's been working with us, so the artwork is gonna be 100% all professional. She works with Insomnium. She works with big bands.
I'll say this much, dude. Americans don't know shit about metal.
I'm gonna tell you that,
Europeans
yes.
do. So
Yeah.
let's get with it, America. Andale.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
for real.
you know, the same goes for punk and everything else. Pretty
Europeans,
much,
man.
you know.
That you know, and going back to that little insight about fans and stuff like that, you know, when it comes to this music, I I don't want to say I don't care about fans here, but I know what the fans want, and it's not our music.
Yeah.
And I can fairly say that because when we play this stuff, a lot of people get turned off.
Yeah,
Because number one, it's too much of this, and it's too much of that, or it's not enough of this, and it's not enough of that. But when it comes to European music, there is such an open outlet.
An open mind
It's
for
as
it.
if it's as if
Yeah.
it's blood, and they need that blood, and that is metal music.
Yes.
It originated from there, it spawned from there, and it's the life
Oh, definitely.
that is European
Yeah.
metal, and that's my target audience when it comes to this stuff. And
Oh,
I
definitely.
really hope to make some sort of ripple in that humongous sea that is metal, not just symphonic metal, but just metal in general.
Yeah.
And I don't even care about a million likes. No, that's meaningless. A million fake likes is meaningless when it comes to just having 10 people right in front of you that know what they like and what they want from
Yeah,
us.
definitely.
That's right.
Means a whole lot more per night rather than just an overnight sensation with a million likes. Super empty, but
Definitely.
that it's just keeping things, the keyword, genuine. And I feed off that, and I love how Europeans do that, and they keep it genuine every single day, every year,
Yeah.
and it just keeps me going. You
Yeah,
know?
definitely. And I like a lot of European music myself. I think that's the reason I like you guys so much. Is I've never really been into really hardcore stuff or anything like that. I like stuff that I can sit back and relax to and jam to, or if I'm drinking, fucking party out to. I like music like that, and I've always been into that. I remember when we were at your house one time, BC. We had seen that Epica was going to be playing in Austin,
Oh yeah,
and
That was a good show.
we were
And-
there.
We were front row
Well,
for that show.
this was like a couple weeks after, or a month or two after they had y'all going to that show,
Yeah.
and then it was at in Austin at I think come and take it, and you were like, as soon as you saw it, you were like, I want to go to this, and I was like, I'm down to go with you, and then the guy that not to be named, he was like, I'm down to go too, and his chick's like, I'm down to go, and then I was like, well, I don't get paid until like Friday, and you were like, I don't care, I'll buy your ticket.
Yeah.
We'll go.
That's right.
Hell yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
And then Eric's like, nah, fuck that shit. We're not gonna.
Who?
You know the
Hey.
guy. I almost mentioned his name. I did mention
Poser?
him. Fucking, yeah, that guy. And he was like, so he never brought me to the house to go with you, and I was like,
Oh man.
Dude.
Epica, dude.
Yeah, man. We could have used a camaraderie there, but
He has a shirt with Simone Simmons on it, and he wore it in front row.
yeah,
Oh,
somebody got
nice.
jealous.
Yeah.
Someone
Hey.
got jealous over here. But
Whatever.
But yeah, man.
And we ran into our really good friend Gabriel too.
Gabriel
Gabriel.
Guardian of Immortal Guardian.
Yes.
So it was cool seeing Gabriel, and we want to give him a shout out because they have an album
Yeah.
coming out and single coming out with the music video and everything. Those guys kick ass, and they are homies.
Yes.
So Immortal Guardian,
Definitely.
homeboys.
Definitely, man.
Super talented bunch.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, extremely. I freaked the fuck out when I saw Gabriel and he was like playing his keyboard and guitar, and I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Dude, he still does.
Yeah,
He
still
still
do-
does.
Oh yeah.
he's still going.
And that's how come I flipped out when I saw Lucid Decree and see Homeboy with his. I was like, what the fuck?
You know what? That's so funny. Like I talked about earlier, he still does, and it's so much in fact that even people in America think it's never enough.
Yeah,
It's
Right.
like, wow, this guy is literally doing a billion things right in front of your eyes, and you're just like looking at your phones.
yeah.
What's wrong with you people? Man?
The thing is it's really cool. See, I went to this show in Austin for the band Sponge, and when you went into Sponge's show, their security guards would literally tell you could either take your phone to your car or we could put it in this little bucket here,
Yeah.
and you can get it because you're here to see a show, not to be on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Wow.
yes, that more bands need to start doing that shit.
Definitely.
Because that is what you're there for. You're not to sit there being like, Oh my God, I'm out of show. Get the freak out of here with that shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I understand if somebody's there in their phone and they want to record the show for memories, fucking A. But majority of the time, it's not that. It's people sitting there on their Facebook and all that. And, like, come on, man.
You know, and it's crazy because, like, we'll play shows, and my first instinct when I see people on their phones is to go up to them while I'm singing. And so I guess I've kind of gotten a little bit of a reputation for singing on tables, and because I had somebody come up to me a few months back and they were like, oh my God, I remember seeing you all as Doom Desire at Thirsty Monkey, and you were on the swing singing with your wireless mic on top of the bar and this and that. And I'm like, well, somebody's got to entertain y'all. And I mean, if I'm going to entertain y'all, we're going to go all out. We're going to go all out. And when I mean entertain, like, we're going to have a good time. I'm not gonna be all weird. Like, you know, there's a misconception with female musicians that we have to just take off all of our clothes to get attention. No, we don't. There are some amazing female musicians out there who can play, who can sing, and they don't have to take off anything.
Oh, let me tell you something about this. You see that girl up there, Tash Sultana?
Which one? This one?
Right next to. Let me tell you something. This girl will blow your fucking mind. She doesn't have anyone in her band.
What?
She's all by herself. She does it all by herself. She plays guitar, drums, keyboard, trumpet, saxophone, everything.
Wow.
Writes her own music. It's
We need more of those.
Yeah. And we need more of those here, especially in the Valley. I've been saying it for the last couple years because I guess I've been involved already for the last 10 years, 15 years now in the scene. My question is, where are the rest of the female musicians? Like, I'm friends with a lot of them.
Yeah.
And I tell them, like, yeah, man, where are the rest of our homegirls? Like, where are they at? Like,
Yeah.
my good friend is Diana De Hoyos from Static Limit.
Oh, yeah.
And we've hung out, and I've told her the same thing, and we agree. We're like, hey, man, we need to have more, like, girlfriends that play in bands.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, play good music. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Which gives shout out to Secrets Told in Silence. I love you girls.
Yes, like that. Those girls kick ass, man. Like, we
Yes,
need more
Bones, man.
Bones. Yes. We actually did an interview for them because I don't know if you're aware, we have the Synchronized video show.
Yes.
And we did start doing that right before COVID. And so I did an interview with Secrets Told in Silence, and I was real impressed. They were super nice, man. Super down to earth.
Definitely. Oh, absolutely. I remember I was at a Secrets Told in Silence show, and Bones and the whole band, they actually came down, and Bones gave me her own personal Secrets Told in Silence shirt.
Wow.
She's like, I want you to have this. You deserve this, and that's something that means so much to me, you know, because I'm a guy who I love these bands, and when they give shit to me like that, especially personal things, it's so much to me. I'm like, man, because I know how that feels to part with your band shirt, you know, and they've always been really amazing people, just good people in general, and I love those guys, and I will always support them. And Secrets Told in Silence, you guys got a place here anytime you want it.
Dude, for real. I'll interview them again.
Yes.
That's how badass they were. They're super nice chicks.
Absolutely, man. I love those guys, man, and one of my favorite bands down here. And I've been known to be a guy who I kind of like chick bands. I don't know.
Hey, man. Yeah.
I mean,
We're not just a gimmick.
not at all.
We can hang with the guys. We can we sing. You know, even if some of us sing like Dio. And,
you know what?
And there ain't nothing wrong with that. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
like, you know, and I know that there's a misconception like, oh, well, if you're going to be the female singer, you have to growl if you're going to be in a metal band. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
How about you go out there and just do what feels right? You know?
Yeah.
And for me, what felt right from the very beginning was to always sing clean.
Yeah.
For me, my influences, you know, Daria Turunen, Pat Benatar,
Oh, yeah.
Linda Ronstadt, Stevie Nicks,
Hey.
Karen Carpenter.
Hey.
You know what I mean? Like, those are the classic voices.
Well, all I gotta say is this: is that anybody who says anything about them, you don't know music, and you just need to sit down and shut the fuck up, because
right.
those are
Y'all
some
are
goddesses
ignorant.
right there.
Y'all are being
Ignorance.
ignorant.
Hey,
Yeah.
I will tell you this. I have told my wife thousands of times. I tell her all the time, I will stay with you forever. But if Stevie Nicks ever tells me she wants me to go, you best believe I'm
She's
fucking
like,
going
yes. Yes.
because that's my gypsy.
Yes.
You know.
And I'll leave you for Trace Atkins.
There you go. Fair is fair.
There
You
go.
know, it's just Stevie Nicks has always been my girl.
Yeah.
Always. She's actually getting inked on me soon.
All right.
I love Stevie
And
Nicks.
that's been such a huge misconception here for so long in the Valley because as it is, you know, being Latina here in the Valley, especially in the last couple of years, we're breaking molds. We're breaking the traditional, oh, you just, mija, you just need to learn how to cook and be a good wife and stay at home. We are breaking those molds. We are knocking that wall down.
Yeah.
And it's important that we knock that wall down. And
Yeah,
we all
absolutely.
do our own thing and we all be different and bring
Yeah.
something new to the table. And
Absolutely.
I do want to give one more shout out to
Yeah,
because, you know, for a long time, like I said, I started doing bands. I started singing in bands when I was in high school. And for the longest time, because I'm from McAllen and VC's from Harlingen. So we didn't know each other for the longest time. I didn't even know that there were power metal bands or symphonic anything out there in the Valley, especially. And so, you know, being young and being a female in the Valley, trying to get into the metal scene, all I ever heard was rejection. It was either, oh no, we can't have you because so and so's girlfriend doesn't want a chick in the band, or no, we can't have you because chicks don't sing like that. Well, that's not our style, or there was always an excuse.
Right.
And the one person that actually gave me a chance and was the catalyst for everything that happened after that was Elias Sworn from of Forsaken Divinity.
yes.
Now he is running the new group Ruin Cross with his brother Abel,
Yes.
and I give a lot
They're
of love to
actually
those guys.
coming On, they're actually coming on here soon.
All right. Well, I give a lot of love to Lee, and I give a lot of love to Abel, especially with Lee because I was nobody, and he, with his music, I became somebody here to people, and
Definitely.
nobody wanted to hear me. Nobody wanted to give me a chance.
Definitely.
Lee gave me that chance, and
amazing.
I'm always going to be super grateful for Lee. If it hadn't have been for Lee, I would not have been asked to join Valgood. And if
wow.
Valgood hadn't have happened, Doom Desire would not have existed.
This wouldn't have either.
And Lost Sacrament would not have existed.
Oh, well then, hell yeah, man. I'm going to have a lot to talk to you with them when they come on because it's really awesome. And actually, I had seen them before at Recuerdos in McAllen. And then not much more after that. And then Monodicey, which is who I'm wearing today, guys. By the way, get your Monodicey shirts, guys. Hit up the guys at Monodicey. Get your shirts. Support local music.
Dude, that's such a fucking cool name, Monodicey.
Monodicey.
It is, man.
I'd love to name an album Monodicey. That'd be fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
The boys of Monodicey, actually, Eddie Cantu, he's the one that told me, he's like, bro, you got to get Room Cross on here. Those are my boys, and
Yep.
you got to get them on here. And for
They
sure,
they are really doing something here that is different in the Valley that has not been touched yet with metal, with
Yeah.
Valley metal. And it's the dark wave
Yeah.
sound, that dark wave sound. And we've been into that kind of music for a long time. So we were surprised to see that it's finally coming out into the
yeah,
light.
man. You guys want to hear more darkwave stuff? Hit up, look up Tommy Toxin and
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
because he does a lot of that too. And
Yeah, man.
and Viberhaven, they're another one of those bands that are just amazing.
Yeah, he
Great
Yes.
musicians,
Yes.
great musicians, and
I give a lot of props to Tommy because he uses Alesis, and so do I.
there you go.
I have my Alesis Vortex wireless, and he has one too, and I love
Yeah.
that instrument. It's great.
Yeah,
That's a
man,
key
and
to our
I'm
leaders,
always
bro.
telling Tommy, I'm like, bro, come on, bro, what's up with Bodacious, bro? What's up with Bodacious Quiz, bro?
Bodacious Squids are super awesome, man. When I book shows, man, they were a lot of fun, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude,
I
I'm
mean,
like, come
I've-
on, bro.
I've booked almost every single band in the Valley when I used to run shows back, I don't know, about 10 years ago.
Yep, I remember.
And man, the stuff you learn, from people,
Indeed.
and their performances and their personalities before and after the show,
Oh yeah.
you learn a lot.
But yeah, man, it's really cool, man. But yes, I think we're getting to that time, so doing all the shout outs and all that. But do you guys have any more shout outs? Anything you want to give?
No, man, no more shout outs. All I got to say is just like our album's coming out very soon.
Yeah.
It's actually, let me be very specific. It's actually going to be, we got one more session with Josh, and that session is just going to be the last of the vocal sessions because I just recently finished up a lot of the music stuff. and then hopefully by next week or a week after, we'll be doing the mixing and mastering.
And we can announce an official date or release date.
And after mixing and mastering, we can announce our official release date, and that would be the next day.
Yeah.
Hopefully, because God damn it, I'm just so impatient. I want it out already because these songs have been for such a long time, man.
This has been 4 years in the making. This has been a big project. It's layers upon layers upon layers of choirs, symphonic orchestra, guitars, bass, drum layers. The mics alone, and vocal layers. Every song is gonna have blasting 3-4 part harmonies. We're gonna go all in for this first album, and we're really excited. And anybody out there that's listening and has given us hype and has shared our music and has shared our band page, thank you. Like, we appreciate you. Even if we didn't name you tonight, we appreciate you. We never forget the faces that stood in the front row for us at the first show at Breastfest. We never forget the faces that stand front row for us at all these shows. We appreciate y'all.
Definitely.
The Valley's not ready for a Lost Sacrament album, man. I'm gonna say this: it's not an EP. It's an album. It's go big or go home.
We're going big.
I fucking went big. It took me 4 fucking years, and you're gonna love it. Period.
There you go,
Exclamation mark.
So all you guys, they make physical copies. Don't be a cheap ass motherfucker. Buy the fucking album. If you really fucking
That's
love
how
the
much
band,
it's gonna
buy it.
cost. It's gonna be a legit full album.
10 songs.
Beautiful artwork, beautiful picture of us on the inside, and 10 smacks. Yep.
10 songs.
Well,
10
I'm gonna
bucks.
tell you
$10,
this.
10
you guys
songs.
heard it here, live, right here on Jackal's Corner. I will take 3 copies of that when it comes out.
You got it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Definitely, because I got people who need to hear this, and I will buy that shit because people need to understand that just going to the show is not supporting them. The bands do not see any money from the ticket that you buy to go to their show.
That is truth.
You need to buy merch. You
That
need
is
to
truth.
support your bands as you expect bands to be supporting you.
That's right.
So get out there and do it, man. We all got to start joining together, guys. This is bullshit. People not buying merch. People saying I love you and I'm gonna support you for fucking ever, but can I have your fucking merch for free?
Yeah.
You ain't going to Burger King or McDonald's and asking them for a fucking burger for free. So don't ask a band for shit for free.
That's right.
We don't get paid in Facebook likes. Sorry.
Yeah, we
They don't. They don't. And
Yeah.
like, man,
And
I
every dime that we make from album sales, T-shirt sales, any sort of, we've even been given donations. Somebody gave us a $20 donation at our last gig. I mean, any money that we receive, we don't use it on ourselves. We buy more merch. We buy better stuff. We invest it in studio time. We invest it in music. We invest
Absolutely.
it, you know what I mean?
That is also truth.
absolutely,
very
man.
These are tough times in 2020, man.
Yep.
And I've invested a ton of money, and it's a great investment. And
It's going to be worth it
the
for
results.
Yeah.
I really hope the results bring a smile to y'all's faces. And
Yes.
that's all I could ask for.
Definitely, man. Well, with that being said, man, let me go ahead and go the closing out. Shout outs to 5x5 Brewery for providing us with all of the awesome alcohol libations.
Woo! Thank you.
Put that glass down. I drank
believe
all your
you
beer.
guys.
Maybe.
I believe
I
you
drank
guys,
all your beer. Thank you,
got
5 by
new
5.
supporters, man. 5x5 is digging. These guys dig 5x5. It was pretty much the first time them really getting to taste 5x5, and they enjoyed it. So yeah, guys, 5x5 out in Mission, Texas, right there on Bryan, in the Seed parking lot or the Mission Food Park. Go out there, enjoy some beer, enjoy some food. Also to Motor Ramen, who is also out there, giving them a shout out for sponsoring Jackal's Corner. Concert Culture, thank you guys for providing us with all the sound stuff we need. Matt Rios, you're a badass, man. There's been times I called you 30 minutes to an hour before a show needing something, and you fucking came in clutch.
Right. Thank you,
Brother.
Matt, for fixing all my hard drives.
There you go, man. Matt Rios, man. Concert
He's
Culture.
the man. He's the man.
Papi chulo.
Hit them
Aye.
up. So with that being said, also to Snack Attack for providing us with the first batch of Jackal's Corner shirts that we had, and for providing us with safety stuff like our safety masks that we have to go out there and deal with all this COVID bullshit. So
One last shout out, Mr.
Yes.
Fred Gorena.
yes,
Thank you for your shirts.
Yes, thank you, Fred.
And
The
that's-
shirts were amazing, and we love them.
And that is one guy you need to hook up to as well.
Yes.
Oh,
Fred
absolutely.
Gorena. He's a fantastic guy.
Absolutely. Anytime you want to come out on this show, you got it, brother. This is for everybody. People need to understand this. Jackal's Corner is not just for musicians. It is for anything that is RGV local. I don't care what it is. If it's a business, if you're a poet, if you are a comedian, if you are a shirt designer, I don't care. You let me know you're coming on this podcast because I love my RGV. So, with that being said, I thank all you guys who tuned in tonight. I love you guys. Remember, take care of your musicians, and if you're in a bar, take care of your bar staff.
Yes.
Take care of people that are working on tips.
Hop shop.
That's right. Hop
know,
Shop. We
Hop
do have to
Shop.
give them the shout out. Carlos and Dina, Blaine from the Hop Shop, and Roy. Those guys have been family to us. Hop Shop has always been our stomping grounds.
Best bar in the valley.
Yes, and they are the best bar and venue in the valley. I will say that. Quote me. We love you all, Hop Shop. You all are our family.
RGV Horror Club said, "Hell yeah, Helena, you rock."
All right.
Right on,
Thank
man.
you.
Thank you.
T. Aguilar says, "That's my boy." Ooh, Vince. And then
He was my student.
Hernandez says, "Cool."
Practice.
And Darlene Johnson says, "Awesome." And Felipe throws up the horn.
Thank you,
That's
guys.
our boy. Woo!
There
our
you
guitarist.
go. Shout out
That's
to
his girl.
everybody who commented on here. Jackal's Corner loves you guys for tuning in and supporting your local scene. Giving some love out there, man. You guys are all amazing. Who knows? Jackal's Corner might do just a special Jackal's Corner where I just bring in some fans to kick back and talk
Yes.
about the beauty of the local
Spectators.
scene.
Do it at the Hop Shop.
Definitely. And you know what? Hop Shop, if you guys are down for a Jackal's Corner to shoot there, we are fucking down
You need to
because
bring
Hop
Carlos
Shop.
here, man.
Yeah.
Carlos and Dina, they got lots to say.
They've
They've
got-
seen everything. They have seen everything.
Yes.
And I would love to
The
have
whole
them
staff. Bring the whole goddamn staff because
Yeah.
they deserve it. They deserve every
Yes.
single.
Oh, absolutely, they do. I remember one time I went to the Hop Shop and I didn't have money to get into the show, and they came out and they like, hey, you know what? Fuck this. Come on in, man. Enjoy the fucking music, and that's a fucking amazing. A shout out that I want to give out to is another person who was the first person who one of the real first people that I ever fucking met here, and that's Mr. Louis Blunts. I met this guy and every time there was a show, before I started getting some cash coming through, I would go to Thirsty Monkey and I would look through that window, that little window that they had that you could see the stage from the outside. And Louis came up to the window one day and was like, "Hey, bro, what's up, man?" I was like, "I don't have enough money to come in." He says, "I see you every week looking through that window, just watching music." He's like, "Come on in, bro." And that was just so amazing that somebody was like, "Hey, fuck it. Fuck the money. Just come and enjoy the music." And I think that was that moment that I really clicked and was like, the valley's where I'm supposed to be, because I was going to leave the valley. I wasn't meant to stay here.
Yeah.
But
There's too many gems down here, man. A lot of gems need to be polished up. There's too many
Definitely.
diamonds in the rough.
go.
Yep.
Austin is overrated, so stay here.
Yeah.
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 I agree.
That was
agree.
actually my
I agree.
nickname from Vinny D is Jim of the Valley.
Gem of the valley.
And
Diamond
truth
in
be
the rough.
known, the original name of the podcast was going to be The Gym Shop.
The gem shop.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then my boy passed, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna name it after my boy,
And,
because that's a man who really
and
truly loved.
I do want to give a shout out to Mike.
Mike. Oh, he just had to say it.
Yes.
Heart.
Yes, I did.
Yes, Mike Vonick, brother.
Yes. He was a good friend, and he's super duper missed. I used to walk
Yes.
just down the street to go hang out with those guys, and Mike was just always so full of wisdom, man.
Always. I remember that guy. Anytime I would walk into Thirsty Monkey, he'd be on stage with Dogma. He'd be like, "Hold on, guys." He'd get off stage and run up behind me. "Ah, I love you, bro, but I got to back on stage."
Yes.
But he always had a hug for you. If he loved you, man, he had a hug for you. He had time for you. He made time for it all, man. And still to this day, it's one of the greatest losses that the Valley ever
Absolutely, dude.
had was Mike Bonnick. And Mike is always going to be a special person. He's another part of this whole podcast. Yeah, man, definitely.
Mike.
Mike.
Homeboy. Yeah. Forever.
Forever, man. Definitely, man. But yeah, man, and I think that's a great spot to leave off is giving a shout out to Mike.
That's right.
So I love you guys, and thank you for joining us. Until next time, this was Jackal's Corner, and yeah, man, keep your eyes open for Los Sacrament. See when they're gonna be playing after all this COVID stuff.
Well, we do have one show lined up. We haven't.
Yes.
Do we want to reveal it?
Well, it's been in the works. I think it's in February, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'll be I'm 3 beers in. Sorry.
Well, we have a very good friend of ours. Some people know him here in the area, and he loves the Valley very much. And his name is Cryptos, and I am going to give him a shout out. Cryptos Grimm from Nuclear Rock Radio, from Spectral Manifest. He's our homie.
Yes.
He's a good friend of ours.
He's from Houston.
And he's from Houston. He services the Houston area with burgers and good food, I hear. So we need to go up there one of these days and go see him. But Cryptos will be throwing a Day in the Valley of Death Fest once again at the Hop Shop at the end of February.
Nice.
We have been asked to join them. So we will be playing, if all goes right with, everybody eradicates COVID, stay home for like 2 weeks, guys, just shut down for a little bit, keep beer or whatever.
Stars have to align.
Yes, and we will be playing the Day in the Valley of Death Fest at the Hop Shop this coming 2021, if all goes well. So we're very excited to be joining the roster this coming festival, and it's gonna be a very awesome festival because the festival has always been known for bringing the best of Texas bands to South Texas, and we always have a good time, guys. It is a great show every year. And this year, it is getting even more varied. We're going to have all kinds of bands playing at that show. So please come out, Hop Shop. Once COVID's not here anymore, and it's happening for sure, we will all celebrate with a beer at the Hop Shop.
Yes.
Day in the Valley of Death Fest. Los Sacrament will be playing.
Nice.
We will be there. We will make it happen.
There you go, guys. Well, you heard it here first, guys. So keep in touch with them on that. And I will definitely be there at that. Jackal's Corner will definitely be at that. And with that being said, thank you, guys. And good night from Jackal's Corner.
Good night, y'all. Stay genuine.